Hi, I'm Johnny West from Open Oil, and this is my reapplication video for a second year Shuttleworth Foundation Fellowship for the project Gaia Base. So, resource curse is pretty well understood, and we have iconic images of it in our minds, all of us. You know, the kid sliding around in plastic sandals in an oil slick in the Niger Delta, endless wars in the Middle East which are partly triggered by oil. The question is, how can an open data framework help with that, really help with that, and how can we grow that open data framework? So our big picture is three things. First, we are going to continue to pull millions of tons of stuff out of the ground every year, indefinitely into the future, no matter what changes of policy happen, because there's too many people on the earth not to, and we want people to have prosperity rather than not. Number two, those will be commercial operations. That's the real world. But number three, we're already up against climate change, as a potentially catastrophic planetary boundary, and there are others like water use, and we can't continue in the laissez-faire system of just having these industries be run haphazardly by combinations of capital and commercial interest with a little bit of government planning here and there on the side. So when you put all of that together, what do you get? The need for natural resource management to have some regulatory framework at a global level pretty soon in the future. And there's plenty of precedent for that in multilateral trade treaties, regional trade blocs, various UN mechanisms. Well, when you put it all together, that's what we need. And Gaia Base is the framework to create the tool to allow that kind of policy to happen. Because, in fact, even if we woke up tomorrow morning and there was the political will to get genuinely sustainable management of natural resources with social and economic justice, we wouldn't have the tools for it, and that is the part of the puzzle we think we can help to build Gaia Base. So, what's the first year allowed us to do? It's allowed us to build applications which are different to what's gone before, because they aspire to universality, all contracts, all concession areas. They stimulate demand, or have revealed demand very successfully around the world, and they create data standards which have got us a seat at the table of various policy discussions. Let me take the example of the contracts repository we published a couple of weeks ago. Last couple of weeks, 55,000 contract downloads, including over 100 complete mirrors of the repository, and plenty of sign up to a USB stick to get an offline repository from countries like Uganda, Kenya, Nigeria, Libya, Indonesia, Tunisia, exactly where we would like to grow demand. And stories like Tanzanian MP Zitto Kabwe, who tweeted out one Tanzanian contract to his followers, 8,000 downloads of that one contract, which was partly an advocacy demand for all of the rest of the contracts to be published in Tanzania. And there's a bit of a campaign about that going on right now in Tanzania. So, the same with the BP project for corporate affiliate structures and for financial modelling. We've got demand, we've got people wanting to take it to the next stage. So what would we like to do in the second year? Well, more of those data sets, so not BP but 20, 30, 50 multinationals, not models in 3 countries but 10 to 15, not just the contracts but geodata sets. So more data sets, but also really develop processes which speed up the training of people and communities that want to take on these processes themselves. By the end of the year, to have dozens of people in many institutions able to take these processes themselves, and to continue to have a seat at the table in these emerging discussions around open data standards. So, also to respond to the opportunity because of disclosures, because this year there are 2 directives in the EC and another one in Canada and probably one in the States, which are really going to give us a chance to prototype the future, because the degree of detail in those data structures really allow us to build up this picture of system level view of how all of these industries work. And finally, to advocate openly for Gaia-Base as a concept, now that we will have built enough credibility through these individual component applications and the partnerships we built around them. It's a very ambitious idea, but by the end of the second year we will be in a place where we can credibly build an alliance which calls for Gaia-Base as a tool for the way these industries should be managed globally in the future. Thanks very much.